Like I was sitting on her bed, I was holding her hand. My mom was like sitting with her, like rubbing her head. That was the first time I'm talking about it since it happened. My sister was born with severe disabilities. She can't walk, talk, or see, and she has something called mucolipidosis type 4, which is called ML4 for short. Super rare. Although we didn't have like a real connection the way a typical sister and brother would have, she could recognize my voice. You know, there were like weird little inside jokes that we had, and there were songs that I knew that she liked that would always put a smile on her face. Or I remember being able to say like, "Jenny, give me a kiss," and she would like open her mouth and give me like her version of a kiss. Although I have no idea what she actually knew in her head, and obviously we can't like text or, you know, talk about things, I definitely still feel like we had a really, really close relationship. My sister was getting more and more sick, and my dad had just been diagnosed with brain cancer, stage 4. So we were dealing with my dad, who obviously needed to be taken care of, but my sister, who also needed to be taken care of. And in 2014, my dad passed away, and that is kind of when things for my sister started to take a little bit more of a turn. I would say from 2014 to 2019 were hospital visits 4 or 5 times a year, each lasting several weeks. If she got a cold, you know, in January, it would almost take like 3 to 4 weeks for her to get better. And then she got it later in the year, it would take 5 to 6 weeks, until it was taking like months. And it would always took her longer and longer and longer to recover from anything that happened to her. Infections, cold, just standard things. In February of 2019, she developed a cold. It just wasn't getting better. It took a lot to keep her breathing, and her cough was just horrendous, and she would just scream and cry, and it was just like, it was the worst it had ever been. Yeah, my mom, my brother, and I just kind of all sat around her side, and we're all just kind of like sitting there talking, and I like played some of her favorite songs that she liked when she was younger, and then there was another song that I'd found about sitting with a loved one as they pass, and I just kind of like kept repeating some of those lyrics to her, and just kind of kept playing it over and over again. And you know, like, then the religion kind of does kick in, so you're kind of like praying to your dad that he's there to like help her, like bring her over, and like just make sure that she knows it's gonna be okay. So yeah, I mean, I know people say like being with a loved one as they pass is beautiful, and like I guess in ways maybe it is, but it's also like, it's really, really, really hard. Yeah, it's really hard. It's so f***ed up to say, because it sounds like you're planning for someone to die, but I knew that whenever my sister passed away, I wanted to get a tattoo to remember her. So yeah, I found a tattoo artist named Peter, who works at a South City Market Tattoo in South London, who specifically looks for people who have a story to tell, but don't want something that you just found on Pinterest. He likes to hear you out and then draw something based on what he heard. So I'd sent a bunch of pictures of my sister to Peter to get a sense of, he just wanted to see a sense of my sister. I never expected him to come back with a design based on one of the images. The one half is a rose, which it represents a rose that I bought my sister on Valentine's Day. And then the other half, he had used an image of my dad and my sister dancing for my brother's bar mitzvah, which is one of my favorite pictures. The way that my sister looked at my brother's bar mitzvah is kind of one of my favorite memories of her. She just looked so beautiful, and the picture, she's so happy. The tattoo it's a happy memory. You know, it's not a tombstone. Like it's not a time of death certificate. Like it's a nice reminder of life. I love looking down and seeing it, and it takes me back to this moment in time instantly when I see it, where my dad and my sister are dancing, and just kind of now knowing, you know, they're now dancing forever together. It happens every day now, and that to me is something beautiful, that it genuinely, it brings me joy. It's a beautiful memory, and now they can continue to dance forever.